I knew it. 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 I freaking knew it. Stussy was sussy all along. And no, I did not get that from Tekking. I'm serious. Like, ever since the whole thing that she did with Kaku, because she had been to Egghead Island before, right? So ever since then, it's like she let Kaku get shot by the lasers and all this other extra stuff happen. And I'm just like, nah, this girl, she can't be trusted. She cannot be trusted. And I thought a bunch of other things about her. I tell you what, in these past few weeks that we've been getting absolutely nothing, while I've been working on videos, I have also been researching a lot of things about Stussy. I tell you what, video coming in either tomorrow or Friday, depending on how long TCB takes. But I'm telling you what, man, I saw this coming a mile away, and it's gonna be a big video that I'm about to release about this. I tell you what, this is gonna be crazy. But Stussy, I knew it. I knew there was something up with her. She has a lot of narrative potential. Like, her narrative potential has just skyrocketed in like the past few chapters. I was like, there's no way this girl doesn't have some extra stuff going on. There's no way. It's impossible. Analyzing her character and everything that she's done, yeah. Nah, this character's different. This is a very different CP0 agent right here. And part of the Rocks Pirates, no less. Well, a clone of, you know, the original, what was her name? Miss Buckingham. So she's a clone of the original Stussy, but nonetheless, this is a very different character. And I have a lot to say about this. Anyways, hi, I'm Vagabond Kana. Welcome back to freaking One Piece. My goodness, it's been a long, it's felt so long since this has happened. Cause I mean, you got the holiday season and everything, and it's just, so many weeks have passed. But we're finally here at chapter 1072, The Weight of the Memories. So I hope you all enjoyed your pagan holiday, but now it's time to get back to One Piece. So in the first scene, we actually get to Bonnie and Vegapunk. Of course, Bonnie's chasing down Vegapunk, and I'm gonna be real, this is basically Oda's way of showcasing Bonnie's powers, because she pulls off so much like extra in these short few moments of her just chasing down Vegapunk. So what she does here, she transforms into a little kid, which we already knew that she could do. And she starts crying. She's like, I think I broke a bone, or I think it's something like that. And Vegapunk's like, no, Bonnie, you got injured. I'm so sorry. There's gonna be medical treatment coming along the way. And she transforms into her adult version. But here's the kicker. She says an attack name, I guess you could say it. She calls it Distorted Future. And she not only grows up into a grown woman, but she basically grows up into a female version of Liver King. And apparently this is a distorted future of the actual Bonnie, only a much more buff and, you know, steroid taking version. So, hey, and I swear, like, this threw me off when I first saw it, because I was like, what the heck am I actually looking at? What happened to one of the best girls in the series? What happened to her? She's no longer best girl. So of course this version of Bonnie is stronger because it's the steroid future version of her, distorted future. But then she shows off another ability. Well, this ability we already knew she had, but it was added a little bit more to it. It was kind of weird, actually. So she kind of stabbed him, not really stabbed him, but she poked him with her pole, right? That sounds so sus. She poked him with a little staff thing that she has, right? And all these like stars and little toy fragments, like they look like little toys, like stars, hearts, clovers, all this type of stuff. They come out of Vegapunk, and Vegapunk is like, oh no, it's my shining year pieces. Please return my shining year pieces. So I guess that's what they're called, at least in this translation, because you know we read OP scans here, guys, because they you know TCB got me up at 12 o'clock at night. I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that. I got neighbors and I don't want to get shot. So anyways, moving on, Bonnie mentions that, okay, don't worry, my power doesn't permanently affect living things. Like I said, like this is just a showcase of her power. It doesn't permanently affect living things. So if she changes a living creature, person, animal, or anything, it doesn't stay for good, which is good. So as Bonnie's interrogating him, we get to move over to what Kuma's doing. He's climbing the red wall. So yeah, as we expected, he's trying to get back to the world government, but there might be a catch to it. He's trying to get back to the celestial dragon. So we got to find out where this is gonna go. So far, we haven't really got too much info yet, just that he's a mindless cyborg, and we don't really know anything else other than that he's going back to his masters apparently. So yeah, but we find out also that Vegapunk made a promise to Kuma to never tell Bonnie why he did what he did, why he took away Kuma's humanity, no matter what. Which, you know, Bonnie, she does not buy that. She says, stop lying, you killed him. And he was like, hey, it was painful for me too, all right? But eventually, she stumbles across this door, and Vegapunk's like, no, don't go in there. That has nothing to do with Kuma, do not go in there. And Bonnie, of course, she doesn't listen. And she sees this lever. She pulls the lever and she pulls off a Shinobu. She basically, she calls it oil shock, which is weird. And I think what she does here, I'm not entirely sure, but I think what she does is that she kind of ages the bar or whatever the heck she's holding. And she kind of it crumbles apart shortly after, which is really just a Shinobu move. It's a Shinobu move, but Shinobu, her fruit is kind of very similar because it ages people. Bonnie ages things and people as well, but Bonnie's is just much more advanced. Shinobu has the bootleg version, so she got screwed. But anyways, moving on. She goes inside this door and she finds that there is a big Kuma paw print bubble. And we come to find out that that's like a pain bubble. And he tells Bonnie not to touch it or she will freaking die. But another very interesting thing about this, right? We have a flashback of Kuma and Vegapunk talking. And Kuma and Vegapunk, they're sitting here talking about the soul. So it says exactly emotion. And he says, a scientist from the West Blue told me that when a human dies, 21 grams of mass is lost. And that mass is their soul. Truly interesting. This proves that the soul exists. Now, what was the point of saying this? Because they end up moving away from that, and Vegapunk starts talking about, oh, your ability makes invisible pain real. You turn the peripheral nerves into radio waves and transfer them. So they start talking about memories, pictures, images, all that type of stuff when it comes to Kuma's ability. But what was the point of the soul part? Is it so that Kuma could also do, and this would be absolutely stupidly OP if Kuma could do this, but are they saying that Kuma can remove a soul away from somebody or himself? Is that what we're saying here? Is that what we're alluding to? Because if you're telling me Kuma can take out souls, that's some straight up Rinnegan, Akatsuki, Pain, Naruto. I'm telling you, if that's the case, okay. Kuma's ability is the most broken in the One Piece version. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what Oda says. Kuma's ability is the most broken. I do not care because he can already remove like weird things like pain, memories, emotions, all that type of stuff, right? If he can remove the soul, which is probably how he lost his humanity. That big bubble is, Vegapunk was probably lying about that big bubble. That big bubble may not be pain. It might actually be Kuma's soul. It might legitimately be his soul. He probably removed it himself, and that was his way of taking away his humanity, thus leaving really just a cyborg that's controlled by the world government. If that's the case, and I really do think that's the case, then A, Kuma's OP, and B, that right there is Kuma's soul. It's not pain. And that's why Vegapunk was like, no, do not go in there. Because why the heck would Vegapunk keep a ball of pain? Like, what's the point? Like, what's the actual point behind it? Well, like, what do you expect to gain from that? That doesn't even make sense. So maybe what this is just Kuma's soul, or everything that has to do with his being, such as his emotion, his memories, everything that he's seen. He probably, and also his pain, probably everything that made Kuma Kuma. And that's probably exactly what that's going to lead to. That's really cool, man. That's wow. But that's my theory. It's not confirmed yet, but that is definitely my theory. So anyways, we get back to the Straw Hats, or specifically Nami, Usopp, and Sanji, and Frankie. And they're sitting there, they're like, oh, Rob Lucci, he's going towards Zoro and Brook and them. And Sanji's like, oh, okay, well, Zoro's there, he won't lose, right? And so But they're like, oh, but it's a 2v3. It depends on how they fight. They might fight unfair or something like that. And then we just see a nice picture of Kid Kuma, Baby Boa, Mini Mihawk, and Junior Jinbei ready to go in. And it's like, oh, it's not a 2v3, it's a 2v7. Yeah, we need to get down there. This Joker gonna lose. and then it's funny because Sanji's just sitting there, it's like, oh man, well, I guess Mary Mo's gonna die. He won't be able to live to see the One Piece. He won't be able to live to the end of the series. And Nami's like, go downstairs and help him right now. And then, you know, like the low IQ simp Sanji is, he's like, okay, Sanji must follow all of Nami's orders. Because, you know, that's just what simps do. Pathetic. But anyways, but he should be wanting to help out his people anyway. So it's just like, but that's Sanji. He's a douche. Sometimes he's a douche. Okay, sometimes. So in this scene, we see Zoro facing off against Kaku, and Brook is like, what is his appearance? And and Zoro's like, I think it's the giraffe guy. He looks a little different because he's awakened, right? And he's like, he looks a little different. Whatever, a cut up corpse is a cut up corpse. We gonna beat his tail anyways, it doesn't really matter. And then Kaku's like, oh, if you could cut me, Roa Noah, even though he already did. But hey, go ahead, awakened Kaku, go do what you gotta do. But anyways, so Zoro and Kaku, they face off. Kaku does a lot of, Kaku kind of reminds me of Dragon Form Kaido when he's like moving his neck around, because he's just swirling his neck around a lot, and it's just kind of weird. But we don't get a full shot of like a full cool shot of awakened Kaku, kind of like we did with Lucci, which I was very sad about, but it's whatever. He's not gonna, he doesn't stay up for very long. But anyways. So Zoro's like, I fought enough zigzagging creatures in Wano. I think he was referencing Kaido. I gotta see what the other translations say about that. But either he's saying he fought enough like zigzagging dragon-like characters in Wano due to like Kaido and a few other things. Then maybe he's talking about that. I'm not sure. Or maybe he's just talking about weird Zoans in general. I don't know. But he's like, I'm tired of that. He just smacks Kaku to the ground with his swords. And while Rob Lucci, he gives the order to Kid Kuma, Baby Boa, Mini Mihawk, and Junior Jinbei. He says, hey guys, destroy the Phase Lab. And so they messed this place up. Like, they messed this place up bad. And it's crazy because Usopp and Nami, they're inside there, as well as the other Vegapunks. They're inside there, so that's a big problem. But then all of a freaking sudden, as Kaku is getting up off the ground, Stussy comes up and bites on his long neck. And at that point, he's like, what, you? And then he just falls out. And then Lucci looks back, he's like, what the heck? He's like, what are you doing? Stussy, what are you doing? And she says, what am I doing? I just put him to sleep. Hey, Lucci, you mind going to sleep too? Yes. And we find out that she is a former, well, you could say former, yeah. She was a Rocks pirate crewmate. She's a clone of Miss Buckingham's Stussy. And she was a clone from the Mads cloning experiment. The very first clone. So that is very interesting. I should have thought about this a long time ago, because Judge, he deals with clones, right? I should have figured that we'll get more clones later on. Actually, some people did figure out. Some people thought that Weevil was like a clone of a sort, right? Some people think that Weevil is like a failed clone of Whitebeard, and that might be the case. But Stussy here, I'm gonna talk as little about Stussy as I can because I have a video coming out about her. I've had my eye on her for a super long time in a non-sensual way, but I tell you, everything's coming together now. That's all I'm gonna say. Stay tuned for next video. I wanted to go over Twitter comments, but this time I'm probably not going to go over Twitter comments. I want to get started on this video ASAP before anyone else takes my idea. God dang it. Because if I see anything on YouTube that says what I'm about to say, I'm gonna be freaking pissed. But I gotta get this video out. So no comments today, no carrot opium session. I was gonna try to do Twitter comments, but we're gonna have to skip out on that this week. Oh, also, I have a Twitter. Make sure you follow me at VagabondKana. And yeah, this is a very interesting, good chapter. And we gotta, it sets up so much. More so than you might think, honestly. Especially with the Kuma Soul stuff. I mean, well, that's just my theory, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna go in that way. This man can probably take out people's freaking souls. Or maybe just his. I mean, yeah, I guess, you know. But we gotta continue this, man. We got to continue this, I swear. But anyways, great chapter. I cannot wait for 1072. We will be back next week, and I'll be back before that if you come check out my new video. But anyways, with all that being said, Vagabond gone.